This is Ryan, a really good blue belt who put me in some tough spots, but small and easily fixable mistakes led him to losing out on the crown of being the first to submit me on YouTube, as well as led to him being submitted multiple times. Let's look at how to fix those mistakes. He starts off with the mistake of not controlling my feet. He should have looked to control my feet and put me on my back to make passing easier. He tried to hit a step through pass, but failed as he didn't step through enough to use his shin for knee on belly. And it provides me the space that I need to get to my feet to wrestle up. But as I do, he snatches up a tight guillotine. I make sure to prioritize staying on my feet rather than following him down and dropping to my knees, where it would be easier for him to finish. Ryan should look to drag me down and turn his hips to his left. That way his hips would be facing me better. But instead he drops down to his right hip, and I use the momentum that he created to pass to his right side, which is the safe side for me in his guillotine. It would be very difficult for him to finish from here without the use of his legs, and he's at risk of me putting him in the Von Flue choke. Ryan makes the wise decision of letting go to avoid that. I use my right fist on the mat to block his hips, hoping to step over his knees to mount, but Ryan brings his knee to his chest to create a barrier between his torso and my legs. So I use my left foot in front of his left knee to use it as a wedge. This controls his hips similar to my fist earlier and very similar to an arm weave pass. If I were to drop my left knee down to replace my foot, I could enter into dope mount. And that's probably what I should have done, as I'm having trouble getting in front of his knees in the position that I'm in. So I abandoned my search for mount and instead backstep into side control, and then step in front of his knees for mount. When you've been training for over a decade like I have, you kind of develop a sensitivity and feeling for what people are going to do before they even do it. And as Ryan turns to his side to try to escape, I'm one step ahead and I use the back exposure created by him turning onto his side to take his back. I'm very high on the back, which allows me to easily hook his left arm with my left leg to trap it. I've got arm bars and triangles available from here, but when he traps my right foot, I lose the ability to triangle, and an armbar is still possible, but it would be difficult to pull off with my foot trapped. But that trapped foot does provide me a hook for the back, and I just transition back to the back and have both his arms trapped. This is the straitjacket, and I finish with the one arm rear naked choke. This was filmed in Vietnam at a training retreat that Jeff Chan and I hosted, and I taught this exact technique at the retreat. I was trying to hit the techniques that I had taught. I taught the Toriano pass too, which is why I'm attempting it now, but I'm doing it pretty sloppy, and this is a great example of it being best to take what's available and flow, rather than trying to force what you want. My neck is slightly exposed, but sensing Ryan's guillotine attempt, I glue my head to my shoulder to close off that space and prevent his grip. This is grip fighting. Grip fighting isn't only breaking grips, it's preventing grips of all kinds. Back to unsuccessful Toriano passing, and I do a simple backstep to secure the pass. As I transition to mount, Ryan makes the mistake of reaching for another guillotine. This positions his arm, which he should be using as defense, behind me, and opens him up to the arm triangle. He should have brought his arms tight to his body to keep him safe, rather than attempting offense from such an inferior position. Ryan is doing a great job of not letting me pin his back to the mat, but that does create back exposure, and I take advantage of it by hitting a chair sit back take. Again, I trap his arm, and this time I'm trying to bait him into the crucifix. He takes the bait by trying to escape, and what I'm looking for is an armbar from the crucifix. I just want one because they look cool. As he tries to turn towards my head, I stop him with my Kimura grip by prioritizing keeping his wrist below his elbow. I could have let Ryan turn slightly to his knees to provide space for me to insert my knee to retake his back using the Kimura trap, but instead come up to finish on top with the Kimura. The most powerful way to finish the Kimura is by placing your elbow on the mat and facing your hips towards their face. This is way more powerful than finishing on your knees, as on your knees your body can only rotate so much and less torque is available as a result. And now a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Elements. Training jiu-jitsu can be really tough on the body. Even though I'm quite accustomed to training several times per week, I used to experience these long-lasting muscle cramps. Now the reason that this happens is due to the loss of electrolytes through sweat, the primary one being sodium, and when sodium isn't adequately replaced, that's when we experience those muscle cramps, which is why I started drinking Element. It's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with a science-backed electrolyte ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. It also contains no sugar, no coloring, no artificial flavors, none of that junk. On top of that, it's used by everyone from NBA and Olympic athletes, Navy SEALs, and everyday exercise enthusiasts. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/JordanTeaches. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinkLMNT.com/JordanTeaches. Ryan attempts what I call a hip turn pass, but he doesn't do a great job of keeping me pinned on my back, and I hit an easy sweep. In jiu-jitsu, there's specific battles and objectives that need to be won by each opponent. For Ryan, the battle will be to keep me pinned on my back by positioning his weight over my left armpit and jacking up my left arm. My objective is to stop that so I can use my left arm as a reverse underhook. This is known as octopus guard, and it's great for sweeps and back takes. I eventually get to mount, and with Ryan's arms positioned so high up, it's an invitation into S-mount. This is more of a speed entry into the armbar more so than it is pressure. I hook onto his right leg, which stops him from bridging into me and getting to his knees, where it would be easier for him to escape. Because I have his leg, I didn't need my left leg over his head to enter into it. They both serve the same purpose. I use my left knee to push Ryan forward to bring his defensive grips closer to my right hand. Now I can grip fight with that right hand without letting go of his leg. I taught a really cool armbar grip break at the retreat, so that's what I'm gunning for. His defensive grips are now broken, and now I just need to bring my leg over his face to finish the armbar, which I get, and now I can let go of his leg to go 2 hands on the wrist, but he taps before I get there. Ryan owns a great snack company called Minimal Snacks. Make sure to check them out. We start again, and as I enter into the dogfight, I get lazy and leave my neck exposed, and Ryan snatches up another Army guillotine. My priority is to make sure that I keep Ryan's right knee pointing away from me. If he can turn his knee towards me, he could enter into 3/4 mount, where he's basically in mounts but only his right foot is stuck, and it would be easier for him to finish the guillotine. So I don't let him do that, and I get back to the dogfight, and again pass to Ryan's right side, the safe side where he again wisely lets go to avoid the Von Flue choke. I hit a one-arm arm triangle, which is also something I taught at the retreat. To perfect arm triangles, you should look to submit with only one arm in training as much as possible, as this will ensure that your mechanics are perfect. That way you don't need to rely on anything extra and unnecessary to get the job done. It's extremely hot and humid in Vietnam, especially for my Canadian ass, so I figure I'll be lazy and play some defense while I let Ryan attempt to attack. I keep everything tight to prevent Ryan from taking inside position, but not tight enough as Ryan uses against me a back/truck entry I also taught at the retreat, but I know the counter. This is the truck, and the battle for both of us is knee positioning. The battle is who can get their inside knee in front of the other person's hips. Ryan entered into the truck with incorrect knee positioning, which made this a very 50-50 position for both of us. If Ryan would have entered with the angle of his knee more towards my head and in front of my hips, then he'd have me in the truck where he'd have calf slicers, groin stretches, and twisters available to him. The truck is actually the exact same thing as a Kimura, except with your 2 legs on their 1 leg, rather than your 2 arms on their 1 arm like a Kimura. With a Kimura, it's elbow positioning that's priority. You can switch who has the Kimura by taking the dominant elbow positioning, just like you can switch who has the truck by taking the dominant knee positioning. A scramble starts and my priority is knee positioning, which I now have, and successfully turn what could have been a bad position into a good position, the reverse Uno card. Alright, that's basically it for the role. The next training retreat that I'm hosting is in Trinidad and Tobago. The link is in the description to learn more. Make sure to pick up my Jiu-Jitsu theory course to learn more about Jiu-Jitsu theory. I touch on a lot of the concepts in this video more in depth in that course. Alright, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. If you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump, and I'll see you guys next time.